Hello everyone, and welcome to POV Gaming here with Big J. We've been playing a lot of Valheim lately, and we've learned quite a few things in the, almost 100 plus hours that we played. And I wanted to go ahead and do a base showcase to show you guys what we have done in about 260 days in the game, show you guys some tips and tricks on what might be good for your base, the mistakes that we have made, and hopefully that you guys can avoid. And we're going to start here with our original base. Like any base, started off very humbly. We found a small abandoned base, and if I can find some footage, I'll crop it in from one of our streams. Definitely subscribe to check out our streams. We love streaming, so definitely check it out. Started out pretty small, and then it just kept expanding, and kept expanding to what we have now. Now, this takes a lot of time. Anybody who's played Valheim for any discernible period of time will tell you it takes a long time to get started. And only very recently that we started working with a lot of stone, getting our teleporters going. And you can see here our latest thing that we've done is get our farming going pretty well, and we're breeding a ton of wolves right now too. And the little adorable guys. Let's go, buddy. So, this base, the only original structure that was from the abandoned village is actually this little building right here. And from there we just expanded it out. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a few tips right off the hop here. Maybe I'll leave you. I lost the wolf earlier to a troll, so don't want that to happen. First tip is when you're building your buildings, don't focus too much on horizontal bars like these. We went ahead and used tons of them in the beginning. We had no clue of how the physics in the game works, and to go ahead and point it out to you guys, the thing that matters the most in this game is that when you're building up, you'll lose structural stability. So you'll need posts that go from the ground upwards. So you need vertical posts, and it allows you to build up to a certain height before even those posts will be not strong enough. You can use core wood as well, which will help take on more of a load. But all these little horizontal things, other than looking nice, they really don't do anything for your structure. And it can actually cause some serious issues for you, like it has caused for us. One of the issues that we have while we're running the server is that our nickname for this town is Lag City. This town seems to lag a lot, and it has to do mostly with how the game renders in all this. Having an excessive amount of posts going, like horizontal posts going all over the place, it can cause performance issues for your computer. Depending on what kind of computer you have, of course. If you have a pretty strong, powerful computer, it'll probably do pretty okay, but if you're hosting, you might find that people who are connected to you may have difficulties keeping a decent frame rate. That's the first thing to kind of avoid, is going too crazy with the horizontal posts. Big tip, and this is a big up to one of our subs that gave us this information pretty early on that we had no clue about, was that the longer you play the game, the more stuff will come towards your base, and the more stronger they'll get, and the bigger they'll get. Relatively early on, the game is pretty dang easy. You'll find that, especially if you're playing solo, you'll find that not too many things will stray towards your base. But as more days will progress, you'll find bigger and more badder enemies coming to attack you. So, especially after you defeat the first boss, you'll find things like trolls being more and more common within the forests. But do keep in mind, you can find the trolls within the first few moments of playing the game. They can be found walking around. So they're very strong enemies. If you haven't encountered them yet, you'll see how strong they are. They can destroy a base very quickly, and thankfully one of our subs who was an expert in the game, told us a very useful tip, and that is build a trench around your base. Having a trench around your base prevents enemies from actually coming up to your walls, breaking through, and then trashing everything that you have built. some of which you probably were building for hours and hours and hours. You can see what happens when a troll comes up to a bridge. This bridge was all the way across, it was full. All it took was the troll was like one good swing with his club. It knocked down basically the whole thing. But the base itself was fine. It was good. All you'll have to do is rebuild the bridge, and your base will stay pretty damn safe. For doing your trench, though, you'll find it's going to take a long time, especially depending how big you build your base. Our base is, I don't know if this is considered a big base or not, but it goes pretty far, and we have built trenches all the way around. And you basically want a good slope going all the way up and down. For the most part, we usually get our enemies usually spawn within just the outer perimeter of this wall, and then they will get stuck trying to cross over. You can see there's a ton of them right there. And they'll go around. And actually, guys, when you have an assault happen the first time after you built your trench, it's a great way to test your base. Like, if you can find, like, if you were the group of people, you have, let's say, a troll nearby, and you built your trench, but you're not sure if it's sufficient or not, go ahead and lure him over. See if he can cross over your trench. See if he's able to get in. None of these guys are going to get through. And it's pretty fun to actually have that happen. You know, very, very thankfully for us, early on in the game, we had a subscriber tell us about, you know, doing a trench, and it was incredibly helpful for us. You can see the smell is gone. But so, that's the next big tip there. Just keep a decent trench around your base, and that includes your dock system too. What we did for our dock is we had built a pretty damn good trench system going all the way out. We built our walls up. We went ahead and built up a dock on this side. Keep our ships inside here. When you have an open water dock, do keep in mind that it's never truly safe. That's why our dock it starts very high. There's a wall right there. There's a set of stairs that's going to be located on the edge there that we put up just in case, let's say, a troll walks through, which would be devastating for a troll to walk through this and us not pay attention. And because we've had it happen before where we unfortunately lost a few boats, where a part of the dock got destroyed, but the main base was fine. And pretty much anything that gets destroyed in the game, you can pick up the items afterwards and rebuild. But if you get most of your base knocked out, it can be devastating. So you can see here, we went ahead, we have a gap here, just in case something like that ever happens. We can knock out the stairs, they can't come in. The dock is, for the most part, impassable, but we've had a few enemies come through. Like, a troll can still get around this wall, come on up. But that's why when you're designing your base and trying to figure out where everything goes, keep good lines of sight open. Being able to attack an enemy from any direction in your base is very, very useful. Keeps you safe. You can basically farm enemies, especially like later on when you're trying to get like your troll armor and stuff like that. It's incredibly satisfying to have a troll run away in fear from your base because it cannot path to you. So, and that's what we did. Pretty much every single part of our base, we have a pretty decent line of sight. So much so that we even built this little thing. Go ahead and show you guys that. Wolves everywhere. If you guys would like to see us tame wolves, just let us know too. We're willing to do pretty much anything to show off the game. This game is incredible. So we built this tower here. It's been very useful. We have animals all the time just hanging around the base. Very easy to go ahead and get food, but it's also very easy to go ahead and knock out a troll, for instance, or any other enemies that might be trying to come up to your base. And once again, this has also been trenched. They can't get to this tower, and it's pretty good. But for the most part, this is our old base. We took what we learned. We took some of the mistakes that we had learned and put it into a new base, and I'll go ahead and showcase that to you guys now. Actually, let me back on that just a quick moment. Something that I would really recommend people to do, um, especially if you have poor short-term memory like myself, is build yourself a decent little storage room and label them up. This makes things so much easier to figure out where your stuff is. I cannot recommend this enough, guys. Definitely build yourself some sort of storage shack and just label up your boxes. It makes it so much easier for you later on. We've saved so much time by just putting in the effort. And yeah, it's been amazing. Like I said, this is the only original structure from the old village, and we ended up turning it into a storage area, kind of incorporating the old into the new. We originally had our metallurgy right here against the dock. Just looked pretty nice. It was pretty cool to have everything right here. Kind of funny. Once we did this, for the most part, we barely even used the base just to hit the beds. That was pretty much it. But we do a lot of our smelting was done right here. You can actually see when you're right here, you get a comfort level of 7, so you can be doing your metallurgy and you still got your comfort going. I believe it's this last portal. Let's go through. Teleporters are very useful in this game, especially with the massive distances you do have to cross. Just do keep in mind that you can't transport metal across, and I'm talking about like metal bars and ore. That's the only thing you can't pass through a portal, but pretty much everything else you can. That includes like money, coins, rarities like amber and stuff like that. Everything else can go through. So this is our new base. This one took me a long time to build. It was something I wanted to do for a while though, which was to sink a base into the ground and then have a basement basically. It's still pretty sparse. We haven't built too much in here. It's still pretty new. But what we did was we have our nice little mess hall area right here, and we got our get the fire going. This place warmed up. I have the double wide fire here, very nice to use. It's great for keeping a large area under heat. And we got our nice, I'll show you guys that from the outside, the way we vent this out. We have another one right here, off to the side. We have our main floor. And once again, pretty sparse at the moment, but you guys will see how the design is. It's pretty cool. We come up to the top, and we weren't sure what to do with this space, and because of the way it looks, we decided to do, we're going to do this as our PvP arena right here. We're going to build it up a little more so we can spar with each other, go hard. And I'll show you guys a cool little quirk of how this game does its stuff. Due to the design choice that I had made, this post is supporting this ceiling. So, for the most part though, there's not a post that runs from the very base of the base to the top. So, but these 4 posts do. What's underneath here is lateral pieces of core wood that are connected to this piece, which then caused me to raise up the ground, which then maybe use these staircases. Now, when you put a staircase this low, what ends up happening is it will clip to the area underneath. And it looked pretty dumb, so it's one of the few times in the new build where I actually did use the horizontal pieces, and I went ahead and I put it all the way across, and it's kind of funny. It does look right. It looks like a piece of the structure. It looks pretty cool, and it also has a secondary effect of holding back the smoke from this device right here. This thing is awesome. I love these. Getting chains now is amazing to build these things up. It looks cool. Adds an extra little flare to the base. But it also contains the smoke within this little area here. Coming outside, you guys will see what makes the base a little bit different. So this base is sunk down by 2 levels. So 2 stones deep. And it goes all the way around, then all the way across, which then resulted in this pretty cool base. This took me ages. You guys are already getting a peek of the dock. I'll show you guys that right after. So this base right here, It's almost perfect in its design, with the exception of me completely flubbing up one part, and I'll show you guys that as soon as I transition into the day. It's getting a little dark, so I'll hit the sack and I'll join you guys during the day again. Alrighty guys, it's going to be daytime again, and so I'll show you guys the one part where I made a slight whoopsies poopsies. When I was building this base, I was very much zoomed in on this area. When I first arrived here, it was a very large abandoned village filled with, might be pronouncing this incorrectly, Dragors? Basically the zombie-like Vikings that walk around in the swamp area. There was a village right here, completely filled with them. For the most part, I knocked it out, everything that was here, and I started building this lovely base that you guys see. The only mistake that I had made was that while building, I did not pay much attention to the back corner of this base. If you look at the top right, inside the minimap, you'll see that I'm in the meadows. Crossing over here, I'm now in the Black Forest. So, unfortunately, the back part of this base, I ended up spiking this up, but due to a very lovely tip from one of our subs, if you were to go ahead and hoe this land, basically bring it down where it looks like dirt, nothing will spawn on it, as the game counts that as being a built area. So the good thing is, I will be able to reclaim a lot of this land back for the base, so that the guys on the server can go ahead and build whatever they want, farming and whatnot. But do keep in mind, that's another tip, when you're building, definitely pay attention to your minimap. If you build into a hostile area, definitely be prepared to being attacked quite often. The reason why I chose this location was that we have the meadow, this little sliver of meadow right here. That's a black forest right there, and you can kind of see it on the mini-map and a little bit there, but there's also a swamp biome off to the side, which makes it easy for us to shuttle back and forth, doing our farming and whatnot. So that's what this base is, and if you guys want to see updates on how this base will progress and what we do with it, definitely please subscribe. We stream this game almost every day now. So I'll showcase to you guys what we've done with this piece of land. So other than going ahead, I flattened out the land that was from the very back to front, using some stone here and there to fill in some spaces, and I brought it all the way up here as best as I could, flattened out the land, and then that's when I started digging down, and I ended up using stone blocks as my reference points to try and figure out exactly what is level. And this ground is pretty much level with the main floor of the base underneath. And due to the constrictions that I had at the time, not knowing that information that I do now, I ended up taking one of these spots right here, pushing it out a little bit farther, and I built this little area right here, which is kind of like an upper area storage / sleeping area. I do like the way that you can design whatever you want in this game, so I went ahead and I have these open areas here from the roof. Give it a nice look. It also acts as ventilation for I believe these are called braziers, I think. Probably pronouncing that incorrectly. But yeah, it has a staircase that goes down, and I'll show you guys how we vent our systems in this one. We went ahead and we did our slanted roofs. Smoke just billows out of it. It looks pretty damn cool, especially when you're looking at it from the front. So we got this little area here, and like I said, I was kind of working with confined space at the time, so got a little cot area up here. Got some chests back there. Believe that one's my death chest, and definitely keep you guys keep a death chest. Just in case you die, have some items ready inside a chest for you to go out and grab your stuff back. Well, I guess the main piece, eh? This was very fun to do. It was a pain to do, but the dock, I took everything I learned from docks from before, because we built quite a few of them, and I built this guy right here. Just took a ton of stone, by the way, guys. Be prepared for stone structures, guys. It will take you a while to get the amount of material you need, but it is very rewarding when you go ahead and build something like this. I'm even thinking of turning this back area right here that's pretty empty into my own personal space. Dock, like kind of building it up a little bit. And we're going to be building right here. We're going to pop down a stone cutter pretty soon. We're going to build another bridge off to the other side. But this dock here can fit 4 longboats, no problem. She's pretty big. I still haven't fully flattened out the harbor itself, and that's a pretty big tip for you guys if you guys are trying to make your own docks and stuff like that. Is try to get it where you are as low as possible, where you're still standing. Once you go ahead and build that one point, use your hoe and then level terrain from there. It'll make it a lot easier than going ahead and going with a pick all the way through. And surprisingly enough, we have not had a single enemy come through this area yet. It's been relatively quiet. I think what? Well, maybe there was the one grayling. I can't tell if that was an enemy that came up or it was just us tossing garbage into the harbor. We got ourselves a little workshop area right here. This is kind of temporary right now. We got some boxes set up. This is still a very new base for us. I'm not sure we're going to put anything in this corner yet, but we have it set up where you basically will bring up a boat, bring up the cart, fill the cart up with all the goods, bring it up here, and then start smelting away inside this area here. There we go. And yeah, we kind of cleaned up our act compared to the first base. We went ahead and we made it so it's a little bit more easily accessible between all the items. Significantly less lag in this location too for the more simpler structures. You can see that our area here is very simple type of roof. This is by using 45 on your bottom, and then you go with your 26 on top. Makes a pretty cool looking dome. I did that before on the top one over there as well. Having one panel cracked open to let the smoke out does the trick. And yeah, it keeps your comfort up. And yeah, we've been able to do this. And that's another tip for you guys. When you guys are starting your metallurgy, try to keep everything relatively as close as possible, because you want to grab charcoal from there, throw it into your smelters, and going back and forth is, it can take up a lot of time if you have things spread out. So that's why it's cool to have a base where you can have multiple workshops, multiple areas where you can eat, have things set up where you don't need to always run to one location to do everything. Kind of spread it out. You can see here part of the old base that's still not knocked out, or the old village that was here before. And we have a big open area to build whatever we want. I think we're going to eventually try to get some wild animals through here. It's going to be a little bit difficult though with the way this is set up, but I'll show you guys the way we did our trench system in this one. And I hope this is maybe giving you guys some ideas. If you guys have any tips for us though, I definitely would love to hear it. A big fan of hearing out what other people have built, and also incorporating that into our bases. A lot of the tips I'm giving you guys were tips that people gave to us, so hopefully it will help. So we got a long, narrow trench. It is very high in some places. You definitely don't want to take a spill off the back there. But we have our little bridge that comes across, and gives us access to our swamp over there. It's a very small swamp, unfortunately. I should have scouted the swamp out a little bit more before building the space, but it still worked out. And you can see we got it cutting all the way across. It's funny how this back area is still considered meadows. But then that corner gets me with the Black Forest. So yeah, we have it pretty dang deep. You can see it goes pretty far in there. And yeah, I put up a ton of spikes to protect from the random spawning that was happening, because we were getting tons of random spawns. But thanks to one of our subs, we're gonna go ahead and flatten this land out, and hopefully that will solve the issue with having random mobs spawn behind our base. But so far we haven't had any damage to our base, which is really good. So yeah, that's our base so far, and the little tips that we have learned in between. Things for like stone collection, you can get a ton of stone just from when you first start building your base out. if you build like in a high up area, like a higher location, relatively close to water, cut it down using your picks, you'll gain quite a bit of stone just from that. But honestly, sometimes you just gotta bring a cart out with the forest. Go out with your friends on your server. Bring a cart out. Just start knocking out some stones, and start hauling them back to your base and kind of stack it up. Try to build up a supply of materials before you want to start building. That's honestly the biggest thing I would give out to anybody who's playing this game for the first time or you're relatively new. Just build up the supplies first before you try to build anything. The last thing you want to do is like, oh, I have a great idea for a base. And then you start building, you put down a few floorboards, a few walls, and you're like, oh crap, I need to go grab wood. Or later on, oh crap, I need to go grab stone. That right there can actually extend the time of your build significantly, leaving you possibly exposed to enemies. So always suggest going out during the day. Bring a cart with you. If you're with your friends on the server, coordinate with them. See if they'll help you out. Get some materials going. Chop down a ton of trees. Bring it to your base. Stack it up. Put in some chests if you need to. Or stack up piles of wood. And go back and do it a few times until you have enough. I think with this main base right here, I think originally I had about 6 chests filled with wood all the way through before I even attempted to start building, and that was I think a full chest was just core wood, and then the rest of it was just regular wood, because you'll peel through wood so quick in this game, and you'll find yourself having to run out all the time if you don't stack it up ahead of time. And yeah, kind of plan out and also be random about it. Some things that are random are really cool. That's the lovely thing about this game, is that you can plan out as much as you want, but the spur of the moment stuff is really good too. Like for me, the way that this little corner turned out, it's oddly enough like one of my favorite parts of this base is just this little corner here, because it just looks so well lived in. And it serves a pretty decent purpose, but it was also making the most of the space that I had available to me at that time. So definitely let your creativity flow. Don't go with cookie cutter stuff. Go which you want to go, and that's what we've been doing, and we've been enjoying the absolute hell out of it. And I hope you guys will go ahead and subscribe. If you guys want to see me do actual builds, let me know. I can definitely set up streams where we will do builds, because I love building this game. It's very fun. I can go ahead and do all the prep ahead of time. So if you guys want to see a specific thing built, like if you want to see a full base being built, let me know. That'll be a long, very long stream, because I think this base here took me well over, I want to say at least 10 hours to build this bad boy. But if you guys want to see anything built, if you guys want tips on specific things, let me know. If you want to see anything about docks, base building in general, just tips and tricks, let me know. I'm definitely not a professional at this game, but when it comes to building, I definitely know a thing or two about building this game. It's been incredibly rewarding, and big ups to the developers of this game. This has been quite special, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the game as much as I have. And if you guys want to see us enjoy the game and also want to interact with us, go ahead and please subscribe. We're doing lots of streams on this game lately, so please go ahead and check us out. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I've been Big J. This has been POV Gaming. Peace out, and I hope to see you guys on the stream. Take care.